All right, let's go, Facebook family. No, I'm sorry. This is not the Facebook family at all. Let's go, YouTube family. Sorry about that. I'm going to do some work for Facebook too a little bit later on. But today it's all about you. And so I want to thank you for hanging out with me. We are at episode 10 of season 1 of The Antidote. The Antidote is, of course, the vaccine of the cure for toxic thinking. So this is all about helping us correct toxic thinking and get some common sense, to get some common understanding about what's really going on in this world. So I just need you to roll with me. So what we're using the book of Proverbs, and that's ancient wisdom recorded by wise people of old. And what it is a short sayings that help you to help give you some guidelines for your life. Thank you. It's some short sayings to help you get some guidelines for your life. And as you interact with Proverbs, it'll make your life much more complete and full. If you've been rolling with me up from episode 1 to episode 9, all those episodes have been about wisdom and folly, or wisdom and the prostitute, or all those kind of things. So it's wisdom. So this time we're going to go into another kind of shift. That first part had to do with storytelling, a lot of larger passages to help drive the point home that it is better to be wise than to be a fool. But now we're going to go into something where it's more like righteousness versus wickedness. So there is that dichotomy, and we are in a new form of the structure, because usually these are going to be one line and another line that's going to say something opposite. It'd be one line that says this and another line that says that, not parallel, but kind of like opposites. And so it contrasts the two. The two ideas. The idea of the righteous person compared to the idea of the wicked person and what goes on with it. What I noticed is, as we go through, there's a lot of talk about language and about speech. The scripture says death and life. Death, that means dying. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. And as I've started to meditate on this portion for you, I realized that there's a lot of conversation around what comes out of your mouth, what a righteous person says and what a wicked person says. And for each type of speech, there's a corollary or complement or consequences of a certain kind of speech, and they do different things, and they bring different things to pass. So I want you to take a note of that. I'll be bringing that up as we go through. And now the form is quite different. So I'm not even sure how long this is going to take, because it's a new format. I'm trying, this is my first time going through on this series. So let's see what it does for us. All right. Let's see. We're going to go into the text. If you got a Bible at home, you can do it. You can open up your Hebrew Bible, or your they call it the Old Testament or Hebrew Bible, and you can work it out from there. Right now, I have the Message Bible up, and the Message Bible is a like I think I told you this already. The Message Bible is a paraphrase. It is not a translation. So paraphrase does not have the power or closeness to the actual text as a translation does. So I'm going to go to the one that I like to use right now. I'm using now. Let's see if I can go here. I just switched this up like this. See, when I use this program called Bible Gateway, I hope that you get it. It's got great tools in it. I don't use a lot of the tools, but I do use the different translations. It's like having like I don't know how many Bibles in one section. So right now, at one setting. But right now, I'm going to a Bible I'm using now. I believe it's called the New English Translation. Make sure I have the right one when it shows up. I'll let you know, because this is new to me too. Yeah, I think this is it. I'm sure it is now. So this version right here helps us to get an understanding about what's happening in the text. I love it. So you know what? I think I'm gonna have to do this because I don't feel. Yeah, there you go. I felt like I was sitting in the dark. I don't know why. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to read through here and kind of use the explanation. I love this particular Bible because it has these notes on it, these little A, B, C's. And I won't read all of them, but they do shed insight on what we're doing and what we're studying with, right? So here's one. The first one is here. It says it's a footnote. Let me see if I can get some size on it. Make it. I can't get size on it, but here's what it is. It says, beginning with chapter 10. That's where we are. We're on the edition, episode 10. There is a difference in the form of the material contained in the book of Proverbs. No longer are there long admonitions, but actual proverbs, short aphorisms dealing with right or wrong choices. Other than a few similar themes grouped together here and there is no arrangement to the material as a whole. It is a long collection of approximately 400 proverbs. Now, I know I read a couple of words that are not necessarily in our vocabulary. So one of the things I guarantee you that you do, if you continue to hang out with me, your vocabulary is going to expand. I keep a dictionary on my desk. And right now I use this one. So the word that I think, the first word that kind of popped out to me that was going to be different, and I had to really look this word. I've been talking about Proverbs all this time, and I don't think I ever defined Proverbs for you. At least looked it up. I'm assuming everybody has the same vocabulary I have, but they don't. So Proverbs is here. I should have it come up right soon because I looked it up earlier and I know that I saved it. Or maybe I looked it up yesterday. So let's see. There, no, that's not Proverbs. Look one more over. If not, I'll just put it in there and look it up that way. Proverbs. So I didn't save it, but I saved it now. Proverbs is a collection of moral sayings and counsels forming a book of canonical Jewish and Christian scripture. Canonical means just like a list, a composition is a list of it. So this is a canon, a recording of Jewish scripture. So look, it has moral. So here's a word that we don't use very much, moral, right? So what are you talking about something that's moral? So there's something we call moral and there's something we call immoral. So with Proverbs, the positive side of it deals with moral content. So let me paste in here what moral content is. Moral content is this. Moral content is of or relating to the principles of right and wrong in behavior. So if you want to, when we start talking about morals, we're talking about principles of right and wrong. Now I know that we in a new environment where making statements about principles and foundations and those type of things, it's kind of like not politically correct, because everybody wants to try to have something that's like apolitical or amoral. That means without judgment of what's right and what's wrong. But the wise person begins to understand there are two types of ways of being and there's two types of ways of thinking. So we want to get the proper thinking, because if we have thinking, we have stinking living. So we want to have proper thinking. That's why I call this whole thing, I call this study the, what am I calling it? I'm calling this study the antidote. What is it? It's the cure. It's the vaccine for toxic thinking. So when you come here, you're going to get some antidote. I'm going to give you something that's going to help you to counteract all the ignorant things that are happening in the world. And today's image is, this image that I have behind me today is a quote that my mother gave me. She's already made her transition, but my mother, I guess my mother is in here because I was thinking about the scripture talking about mother and father. So I'm honoring my mother today, Aziza Muhammad. Right, she's made her transition. Wonderful mother of 7 children. I am the firstborn of 7 of us, right? So here we go. We talked a little bit about what moral is. And we got there because we were looking at the word Proverbs. So let's go again. Proverbs is a collection of moral sayings, things that are either about right or wrong, and counsel, that means understandings or wise counsel, forming a book of canonical Jewish and Christian scripture. All right, that's good. So there's a little bit more about Proverbs that I would like for you to see. Let me see if I can find it down here. Maybe it's in the children's version of what it is. It's not. But there's another part about Proverbs. It's usually going to be something that's short and pithy. It's not going to be long. It's going to be a short explanation. So we won't have these long stories like we had before. It's going to be much more involved in the short stories. All right, let's go. So we talk about Proverbs right out the gate. And then we have this thing where it says, the Proverbs of Solomon. Solomon was the second king of the original Israel nation. He's King David's son. One of the things that Solomon asked for, he asked for wisdom. He said, Lord, give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that I may be able to go out and in before your people. And God said, because you did not ask for money, you asked for wisdom. I'm going to give you wisdom like no one has ever had before, and I'm going to give you riches. Because one of the things that goes along with wisdom is riches. So I'm really thankful for that. So the Proverbs of Solomon, a wise child makes a father rejoice. All right, and that's why you see let me put the whole couple, because I told you it's like two things that go together. So a wise child makes the father rejoice, but a foolish child is grief to his mother. All right, so and you can get that right from the gate. And when we're talking about wise child, we're talking about, usually it's going to be translated as son. The word is actually son, but we're using it in a more modern type terminology, that a wise child makes the father rejoice. That idea of rejoicing is the whole idea is the whole idea of rejoicing is the fact that there may be an exception. Excuse me, that's not what I want to get. It is being happy. Oh, here it is. Here's the part I wanted to tell you about. So let me go on and read this in its entirety. The imperfect tense describes progressive or habitual action. So making a father choice is that it's constantly making a father is constantly causing him to have joy when he sees a father, especially who sees his children walking in wisdom, right? It's progressive or habitual action. Translated here with the English present tense, these fit the nature of Proverbs, which are general maxims. That's where now I can do this. Proverbs are general maxims and not necessarily absolute universal truth. Let me deal with that right now because that's important for you. So when we're dealing with Proverbs, these things are general maxims. That don't mean that it's going to be universal. Everything they said here is going to be just like it says here. No, it's generally maxims. And here's what the word maxim is, because I know we only know, especially the young people only know maxim in terms of condoms. But no, this maxim is something different. This maxim, look what it means here. Maxim. Oh, you know what? I know I have it here already. So I'm going to look for the word. Paste it in here. So today I want you to kind of take your time with me. Allow me to just kind of teach, because it's such a different section that I'm just going to have to teach until we get to the things. And so we're going to be introducing all these new words to you. So I'm taking the time to do it, because I think if I rush into it, we really won't get anything. So if you have to break this one down into segments as you watch it, maybe 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, do that. I recommend that once you get an idea of what I look like, what my setting is and all that kind of stuff, that you can just play it and listen to it as you're walking around and all. So maxim, here's what it sounds like. Maxim is a general truth, fundamental principle, or rule of conduct, right? It's a proverbial saying, right? So maxim is that. And so then you get an idea what a maxim is. It's general truth, fundamental principle. It's the foundation of something. So Proverbs is going to give you general truth, the foundation of something, and it's going to give you to it in a short format that goes fast. All right, and then you're going to see something as we talk here. As I go through this, you're going to see something about how it all works. So maxim is a general principle and not necessarily absolute or universal truths. One may normally expect to find what the proverb notes, and one may normally expect to find what the proverb notes, and one should live according to its instruction in the light of those expectations. But one should not be surprised if from time to time there is an exception. The fact that there may be an exception does not diminish the need to live by the same. So maxims or proverbs are sayings that we should be able to live by. They're foundational truths. They're things that, like, it's like a pyramid. It's solid. It's a firm foundation. And so it starts off with saying, a wise child makes a father rejoice. They're happy. They're glad, right? But a foolish child, right, and that's talking about son again, a child, is a grief to their mother. Now, I thought that this was worth us taking a look at and seeing what this note says. This note says here that grief of his mother, the noun grief is in construct, and mother is an objective genitive. The saying declares that the consequences of wisdom or folly affects the parents. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I'm doing this whole study primarily with my children in mind. My children range from the age of 17 to 22. So it's a couple of them are right in their first year of college. So I wanted to make sure I hit that group, and this is for their friends and all those people. So if I sound kind of off, and some of this stuff I'm going to be talking about. That's why I call myself Uncle Omar. Yeah, no, let me get this right. First of all, you need to know my wife got a little disturbed about me saying this. I am a pastor. That is my calling. That is my anointing. That is my my calling and my anointing. That is I'm pastor by ordination and calling by God. But in this case, I'm not really trying to come to you as that pastor in that pulpit who's got to meet a general audience and has to kind of like be politically correct. I'm coming as a father. I'm coming as a brother. I'm coming as an uncle to nephews and nieces. I'm coming as a father to children, not only biological. I got some sons out there. What's up, Quadri? When you see this, I called on you because that's one of my sons, not biological son, but spiritual son. And that brother, man, we've been walking for a while. So he is family. Ain't no just like, I'm going to say just like family. He's family. We've been walking together for years. And so then I have biological children. So they're out here too. So here it is. So the wise child makes the father rejoice, and a foolish child is grief to the mother. And it said, here's the idea that, if you out there doing something stupid, you can actually bring grief to your mother. You can make your father and them, that's some of the things I did not do because I didn't want to get back to my mother and father. I didn't want my mother and father to see me out there cracked out. I didn't want my mother and father to see me out there making poor decisions, getting taken by every prostitute or slut or whore that's in the neighborhood. I don't want to be that way because remember the other chapters, I'm bringing these things up because these characters came up in the first 9 episodes. So now, I don't want to be considered a fool, and I definitely don't want to be considered the old fool. Yeah, I got gray hair on my head, but the Bible says that, and especially Proverbs, we're going to see that the gray hair is a crown on a righteous person. It's actually my crown. So I proudly wear my crown. I don't dye my crown. I might cover my crown sometimes, but I don't dye my crown because I want people to know I'm walking in this way. I got these gray hairs. I'm almost 60 because I have been walking in wisdom since I was 16 and 17. No, I better put it right. Since I was 18 or 19 years old. That's when I first started reading the Quran. I read the whole Quran. I read the whole Bible when I was 18 and 19, and I made some decisions based on those readings that I would do it. One of the decisions I made was that I am going to follow God. And I'm also going to be a disciple of Jesus the Christ. And I am what I call a radical disciple of Jesus the Christ. Now, my radical discipleship might come in different forms, but I'm definitely a radical disciple. I mean, that means I'm a student of the teachings of Yeshua HaMashiach. Yahweh saves and delivers, the anointing one. That's what the name translates that. So I'm a radical disciple of that. And so, that's how I flow. And so I've been walking in His wisdom. And I know for a fact, I don't want to hear nothing about my children out there doing stupid stuff. I don't want to see my children drunk. I don't want to see my children out of order. I don't want to see my children using wickedness and ungodliness to try to advance themselves. We didn't do it to our parents. I did not go to jail for criminal activity. I have been to jail, but it wasn't for criminal activity. It was for being out there trying to share good news and where I was at and what I was doing. So now, you know that if you're out there acting the fool, you're going to bring grief to your mother and your father. But if you're out there being wise, both of you going to make your mother and father super, super happy. All All right. So right from the gate, it talks about that. Then it says, treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteous delivers from death. So ill-gotten gain, I think that's what this is going to say. Wickedness, it talks about wickedness is or ill-gotten gain. So you got the money, but you got it bad. It's dope money. You know, you out there, you done sold dope to the neighborhood and the community, and now you want to try to come correct. That kind of money is not good money. All money is not good money. Some money, like money for a hit, that's not good money. As old boy Judas. He had those 70 pencils of priceless silver, but he realized that wasn't worth it. So ill-gotten treasures, wickedness, treasures gained by wickedness. And what is wickedness? Is dishonesty. Wow. Wealth that you get by dishonesty. So that's wickedness. When you get that kind of treasure, it's bad. It's bad news. It's bad news. It does not profit. You think you gaining, you think you're making money, you stacking up, but you're stacking up stuff that's going to give you a problem in the end. But righteousness delivers from death. So if you have what is righteousness? The term righteousness here means honesty. Honesty delivers us from death. Honesty, right? Wealth has limited value even if gained honestly. Wealth has limited value even if it's gained honestly. But honesty delivers from mortal danger. If you are honest, you're upright in all your ways, it will deliver you from mortal danger. Now, what are you talking about? Now, I don't know about you, but I've been living in neighborhoods and I live in communities in cities almost all my life. It's just recently, within the past 3 or 4 years, I started trying to get that county-like life. I was tired of the city because there was so much wickedness and griminess there. I was just tired of it. Now, but I have seen some things happen. Like there's some people, they come up, they doing stuff, but they got it dishonestly, and then they get smoked for it. I told you about last night how somebody was doing some wickedness, trying to snatch somebody's bust down chain. I mean, it was huge. It was almost as big as the thing on my chest. In fact, I want to shout these people out. My Friend's House Foundation. My Friend's House is a foundation that gives to the poor, especially those people who are in poverty in Los Angeles. They also have one of the best thrift stores that I have found around. When I first got there, I was like, I don't really like this thrift store because the prices were high. But the more I looked at it, I started realizing that the prices are a little bit higher. Yes, they are, but the quality is also a little bit better too, because those people who donate to the My Friend's House Foundation and the My Friend's House thrift store, they send high quality stuff there. I got several Zara pieces there. It just blessed me for like $8, $9, $10. So that's good. And then but there's also this foundation where I'm taking time to big up them and say something about it. They also help the poor. I was in there one day and a woman, because I'm work downtown in Skid Row, a woman was oppressed by some kind of force that had her actually walking around butt naked. I'm talking about had no clothes on whatsoever, no shoes, no socks, nothing. And I saw them. She was like, they came in the store. They was like, "All right, sister, we love you, but we're gonna have to put some clothes on you." And so they pulled some clothes down, and she was hemming and hawing, trying not to put on the clothes. Eventually, she had to leave because she just didn't want to put on the clothes. But I saw her when I went around the corner, she had them clothes on. So she had got some sense in the meantime, and I started to say, let me buy the clothes that you gave to that woman, but they was like, no, we didn't charge her, we just gave them those clothes away. So I big up the My Friend's House and the My Friend's House organization in their thrift shop in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, on 7th Street. I think it's on 7th and maybe Central or 7th. I think it's Central, 7th and Central. All right then. Haven't got that out. I big up my people because I'm always trying to get you introduced to some good people. We're going to go back to it. The last thing we were talking about was how that if you do right, your mama is going to be happy and your father going to be happy. And then it talked about that ill-gotten gain is wicked. Ill-gotten gain is not a treasure at all. It's going to be a bother. But righteous delivers from death. So if you're acting righteous and doing righteous, you ain't got to worry about death coming, because it's going to deliver you. Because if you're out there, scamming on the wrong people, you end up losing your life, bro. I mean, it's going to take you out for real, for real. So we don't want to do that. We want to walk like you wise. The Lord satisfies the appetite of the righteous. The Lord, who the God, the I am that is, does not allow. The Lord does not allow to go hungry. The expression "the Lord does not allow the appetite of the righteous to go hungry" is an example of this certain form of grammar. Tapinosis, a figurative expression stated in the negative, is stated in the negative to emphasize the positive. The Lord satisfies the appetite of the righteous. But in this format, it goes like this: the Lord satisfies the appetite of the righteous, but he thwarts the cravings of the wicked. Appetite, craving. See how they balance out? The Lord, right? The Lord satisfies. It won't let go hungry the righteous, but he thwarts. What does that mean? Thwarts. That's a whole word. I haven't even heard that word. Oh, it means to thrust away, to refuse to satisfy. God pushes away, throws them away. It has that force to it. To thrust away, thwarts, means to thrust away or to push, to drive away. What does it mean in English? To thwart something. To thwart something. Let's see if I can get it. What does it mean? What does it mean to thwart? I can't wait till I get the capabilities and know-how so I can have us interact together. Because I really want us to interact with some of this stuff that we dealing with. You know what? I should be able to copy it. Here it is, copy. Put this word in here. Thwart. I'm looking in the English dictionary. I use the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Look, I'm not getting paid for any of these shout outs and stuff like that. Not at all. I just, I find good stuff. I want to share good stuff. I want you to get it. Thwarts. Let's see if we go back one. Thwart is a verb, and it means what? Here's what it sounds like.
Thwart.
Thwart is to oppose successfully. Wow. To defeat the hopes or aspiration of. To thwart something is to oppose successfully. To defeat the hopes and aspiration of. To run counter to, so as to effectively oppose or baffle. My God. To thwart something. That's a deep word. So here it's saying to thrust away. So really what it's saying is that the Lord provides and satisfies the appetite, the hunger of righteous people, right? People who do right. But he thwarts, he actually actively fights against the cravings, the illicit, the lustful cravings of the wicked. The one who, and then now they going from that. This is how that's one piece of knowledge. I hope you got the information. I think the main idea is that if you do right, God will bless you, and your desires God will fulfill. If you do wrong, he will block you and get in the way of your activity. Now we go to another section talking about lazy. The one who is lazy becomes poor, but the one who works diligently becomes wealthy. Now let's look a little. It says a little bit more about lazy. This lazy, the idea. Let me say this. Let me stop this because this is something I have to do a little bit of teaching that I have not done yet. But I might as well do it now. Here. What do I want to say about this? Let me go back. I want to make sure I stay on this and make sure I get it. So. We're talking about lazy, right? So, yeah, thank you, Lord, for bringing back to my memory what I want to do. The Hebrew language is basically based on images and pictures. Usually, every word is a description of some type of image or some type of picture, right? So, Hebrew word is really visual. Like the word David, Daoud. In Hebrew, the picture it describes like a pot of. Anybody out here like a gumbo, and they have that roux. Some people like thick roux. Some people like thin roux. I like it like medium thick. I like it toward that. But that roux, and then when that roux is in the pot, it starts bubbling up, right? So David names me to bubble up with love. To bubble up with affection. So they usually say David is a lover and after God's own heart, because his name actually means to bubble up with affection, right? So and they use that picture of the bubbling. So now that I set that as a foundation for us understanding how the Hebrew language works, what is the image of the lazy? So the image of the lazy is this. It is a palm of slackness. A palm meaning your hand, a palm of slackness. Let's go a little bit into it. Here's some more. This stuff right here I'm going to read. This is generally for the person who's a grammarian. So if you don't understand it, don't worry about it. You don't need it. The genitive noun, right? Slack function as an attribute, as an attributive adjective. So as an attribute, a slack palm, right? The term cough, well, palm is a synecdoche, right, of part. Palm for the whole person, or one who works with his hand. So the palm is a picture, a lazy palm, a lazy hand is a picture of a person who's lazy, who doesn't want to work. And so, and it means the whole person. It's not just the hand, the slack hand. It's not just the hand. It's emphasizing the whole person who does not want to do, because it is the instrument of physical labor, does not want to do physical labor. The slack hand is contrasted with the diligent hand. That's a person who don't mind doing some work, putting in some work to get what they want out. The slack hand refers to a lazy worker or careless worker that such hands produce. Oh my God, I hate people when you give them work. They either lazy. And you're gonna find out. It's gonna talk about that later. But when you send somebody to do a lazy person to do a job, they do it half. I almost said half-assed, so I might as well say it. This Uncle Omar. They do it half-assed. They don't do it. They don't do it with. They don't do it with any sense of ownership. It's sloppy. It's crazy. So basically, if you know a person is lazy, don't ask them to do any work for you, because you don't want it. And God forbid you hire a lazy person, right? So we got here. We're going with the lazy, and we talked about what that is and what it means. A Wisdom, Wealth, and Poverty. That's a book. So now. So the one who is lazy becomes poor. Let me show you what the picture of this. A ra'ash, poor, which is let me go on down, let me try to skip past it, which is the form of the same root, essentially means, the poor essentially means the same thing, causes poverty. Poor, the lazy person is, by them not using their hand, it causes poverty to come into a person's life. The expression is literally the palm of the slackness causes poverty. The work, the slackness, the carelessness causes poverty. You lose your job. You can't stay hired because you're lazy. You can't get up on time. It's a problem. And I think for the record, I think I even looked up the word. Let me look at my thing. What poverty might mean in English, because it means something slightly different. Let me see. In English, but it kind of gives you the same idea. There it is, poverty. Poverty, the state of one who lacks usual, and this is a very interesting definition of poverty. I'm so glad I looked this word up, because sometimes I work with impoverished people or poverty, and I say words, but I haven't really looked at the meaning of them. So poverty is the state of one or person who lacks a usually or socially acceptable amount of money or material possessions, right? So in our culture, a sign of poverty is to be homeless, without a home, because generally when we call somebody who has some sense of wealth or some sense of they're not poor, they have a place to lay their head. And they have it's socially acceptable, and they have an amount of money or material possessions that allows them to do a lot of things. Now, to a sign of poverty in this particular culture that we in, the one we in, is to not have internet. A sign of poverty is because you don't have something that's usual, that a state of one who has the usual or socially accepted amount of. Because if you have the right amount of money, you can get internet. A sign of poverty is not having enough of food to eat or a housing to sleep in. A sign of poverty is not having enough. It's the renunciation. Now this is not what we're talking about when we're talking about poverty. There is a poverty that people do voluntarily, right? This is different. They take a vow of poverty. They renounce wealth, right, as an individual, and they own no property, right? But the poverty I'm talking about is that debility due to malnutrition. Poverty. It's a dearth. You don't have enough. So what this scripture is saying to us is this, that, let's go back to it, that the lazy hand The person who don't want to work hard or do things with integrity or with decency, it causes them to become poor. They didn't just they you know, some people were born in a family that is poor, right? And so each generation, especially as you begin to acquire wisdom, and you start to acquire wisdom, you start to gain and gain and gain and gain and not lose and lose and lose because of poor decisions. So, but if you stay lazy, you're going to become poor. But the one who works diligently. The Bible says if a man don't work, he shouldn't even eat, right? So it says it's just not, it doesn't work. That's not the way the system works. But the one who works diligently, it says diligently, what's that? But the hand of the diligent, what does that mean? Let me go down and see if we can get to what the hand of the diligent means. It's the hand is saying that the hand represents the whole person. That's one part. But the hand is emphasized because it is the instrument of physical labor. We work with our hands. You know, I always in my thing, keep your hands clean and your heart pure. So your hands is your labor, your good deeds, your actions. Keep your hands clean, right? But the lazy person, but the diligent person, the person who works hard, does stuff, they become what? They become wealthy. And this wealthy has to do with the hand of the diligent makes rich. So if you're diligent, it'll make you rich. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. I am coming out of being the hand of the slack to becoming the hand of the diligent. I really don't like to work. I really don't like to work. I work for the most part for other people, primarily because I want to bring in income. I don't want to cause my family to be in poverty. So I work. But now I want to work smarter, so I'm doing these type of things that I believe that God is going to bless what I'm doing. You share this kind of information with other people, and people start understanding and see me as a value added to their life because I'm giving them good teaching that makes their life better. And as that happens, as I enrich you, I will be enriched, because it says the hard work brings about what? Wealth, right? The one who gathers crops in the summer is a wise son, but who sleeps during the harvest is a shameful son. So this is a reiteration of the first one where it talked about poverty. But because the one who gathers crops, this is saying the person who's out there, look, I think crops, it does not appear in the text, but it really implies, you know, getting a harvest in. So now, let me see, I'll get to the other one. So the one who gathers crops in the summer is wise. Let's see what that's talking about. So that means that person who gathers is a prudent, right? He seizes the wise person or the prudent person seizes the opportunity, knowing the importance of the season. They don't be sleeping when it's work time. They know you got to get out and because they use these kind of farm-like technology. So you got to go out and plant the seed. You got to break up that fallow ground. You got to get the soil ready. You got to put your hands to the labor. When you do that and you plant good seed and you keep that soil nourished in the right way, what's going to happen is going to bring you fruit that's going to bring you something good to eat if it's physical, like if that part, but it's going to give you fruit that your life is going to show evidence that your life is changing, that things are getting better, that things are coming on the up and up. And I'm so glad that God has given me a desire to work. So I do it. But now I want to not only just work to make ends meet. I want to thrive, and thriving is going to come from me working diligently, and it's going to come from me using and applying wisdom. So as I come up, I want you to come up too. I know for a fact it works because I've been putting it into action. And but here's that part about so if you remember, I think it was in episode 6 maybe, where it talked about go to the ant thou sluggard and learn of them, because the ant don't need anybody. They always gathering their food in the summer, so that when the winter time comes, they can't go out because it's too cold. They are going to be set because everything is set up. They did their work in the summer. But the one who sleeps, look at this. But the one who sleeps, the term sleeps is a figurative and implies comparison that becomes idiomatic. Let me go down there. That's more than grammar. It means that this individual is lazy or oblivious to the needs of the hour. If you're sleeping, it doesn't mean like you're like, but if you do a lot of, if you're always sleeping and you're never up, you might even be depressed, and you definitely not going to get a whole lot done. But this is called like a figurative way of sleeping. It's like you're missing the opportunity. It's like you sleep on the job. It means that the individual is lazy or oblivious to the needs of the hour. So don't be shameful. Don't be sleeping on the job. God got work for us to do, so we don't have to be sleeping on the job. And if you're watching this, you ain't sleep. Actually, you woke in a very real way, right? And it says the same for son. But the harvest, the one who sleeps during harvest is a shameful son. Now, that person is going to make the mom and them sad, going to make the neighborhood sad, the cousins sad, because you always got your brother man, you always got your hand out asking and begging. Now, if you're begging because you actually need it, then we're going to try to help you get past that. But we don't want to be a constant, we don't want to be working and you not working. Oh, one of the things I did, I told my sons, I said, a Negro, if you ain't working, then if you're not working, then you better be in school. Because you're not going to be in my house not working. You're not going to be laying up and me and your mama going out there every day to work and you not working. The devil is a liar. So the only way you don't get a chance, you don't have to go to work, is that you go to school. And so then we'll support that which you're doing, because we know that will bring about a positive benefit. But if you just laying up on us, you just want to be, oh my goodness, oh Lord, have mercy. Yeah. No. And some houses they just up there smoking herb all day long, ain't doing no work, smoking herb and playing games. Oh, you talk about something that make me mad. Oh, if you play games all day long and I came out to work and I got up, I saw you playing the game, I came back from work and you still playing that game, the devil is a liar. You're wasting your time, but you won't be on my watch and not in my house. That's cause for you get put out of my house, and I didn't have to put any of my children out because they got their behinds up and went to work or they went to school. They did one or the other, and I thank God for that. That's called wisdom. We put that into our children early. The one who gathers crops in the summer is a wise son, but the one who sleeps in the harvest is a shameful son. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but the speech of the wicked conceals violence. Now, this is a major turn in the whole thing. Let me first say this. Now we get to this verse, it's going to be a major turn in what we're doing. And the turn has to do with what comes out your mouth. I said earlier that death and life is in the power of the tongue. When I teach young people, I tell people it's going to be as you say it's going to be. Repeat after me. It's going to be as you say it's going to be. If you get up in the morning and say, oh, I got up on the wrong side of the bed, you're going to be on the wrong side of the bed all day long. It's going to be as you say it's going to be. It's going to be. So what I say is, today is a good day. Today is a great day. I love my life. I love my wife. Today is a great day. I'm speaking out of my mouth for the first thing I get on my feet. I'm speaking life into myself and saying what kind of day it's going to be. Because it's going to be as you say it's going to be. If you, like you heard me say, if you say it's going to be this, it's going to be that. So we have to be super mindful of what we say out of our mouth. Do you know that God used his mouth to create? He said, let there be. And it's a symbolic, it's personification of God. But the idea of the mind of God, the thought of God, is formulating the word, let it be. And it is, and then all the things, and he said it's good. So what we say out of our mouth is important. And it's not just what we say out of our mouth, because really it's what we think in our heart. Because what comes, I think the master teacher, Jesus said this. He said something like, it's not what goes into a person's mouth that defiles them, it's what comes out of their heart, comes out of their mouth. Because what comes out of their mouth comes out of their heart. So what's coming out of their mouth is a reflection of what's coming in their heart. And if their heart is dark and corrupt and twisted and perverted, then that's what's going to come out of their mouth. Nothing but perversion, darkness, and twistedness. But if they're coming out with words of life, if they're coming out with words of affirmation, if they're coming out with words of confirmation, if they're coming out with words of encouragement, then that mouth becomes a source of wealth for people who are around them. People just want to hear you say something good over their life. And they know sometimes they can call you because they know they can't get away from talking to you. They know they're going to hear something good out your mouth. So this is the turn right here. And here's what it looks like. Here, and this word is blessing. Look, the word blessing, I got to calm myself down. Let me hear some music. The word blessing has the sense of gifts, enrichments. That is the reward or the results of being righteous. The word blessing has the sense of gifts, enrichments that make your life better. Gifts, something given to you didn't have to work for it. That is the rewards or the result of being righteous. The blessings come either from the people the righteous deal with, the blessings come either from the people the righteous deal with or from God. But blessings come from either righteous people or God himself directly. Understands the CEV, that's another version of the Bible, understands the blessings as praise for good behavior. Everyone praises good people, right? Praise for good behavior. So now, the blessing is very important. Now, mothers and fathers have the authority because they allowed their vessels to be used of God to bring another being into here, another being into God's earth realm with a purpose, right? So a father and mother have the authority and the right to bless their children. You want to know one of the things that causes me to cringe when I hear a parent cursing their children out? Because remember, it's what you say. If you call them a fool, you call them stupid. If you cursing them out, you an MF. If you cursing your children out, then you're speaking not blessings. You're speaking of bondages, and it's almost like witchcraft. So we got to be very careful what comes out of our mouth, family. Oh, and let me say this right now. Uncle Omar and Pastor Omar, they both get really excited about scripture. And so it might sound like I'm mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Only person I'm mad at is the accuser, the adversary. Y'all call him the devil, Shaitan, whatever you want to call it. I'm mad at that spirit because I'm tired of them causing toxic thinking to be in us and causing our whole families and our whole community to be racked with foolishness because we have no wisdom teachers. We need people who teach wisdom. You're going to be one of them people. I guarantee you. You can't get this kind of knowledge and it not affect you. Either you're going to go be what they call a reprobate mind. You're going to just go crazy and be wicked, or you're going to start getting some act right and start trying to apply this thing to your life and become wealthy in the process. It's a promise, right? So we just got here that blessings are on the head of the righteous. Blessings also are what you say out of your mouth. You say blessings over. They say the benediction, the good word before you leave. That's the priest, the pastor, that the imam, the minister. They're trying to speak the last blessings over you as you go, knowing that they're in right relationship with God. So God can take those words that we said and do something with it. Right? Blessings are on the head of the righteous, on their thinking, on their mind, on the head of the righteous, right? But the speech, now these are another kind of, but the speech of the wicked conceals violence. Now this speech, it says something about, it's the mouth. It's actually a Hebrew word for the mouth. So it would say the mouth of the wicked conceals, right, the mouth. But the mouth is basically talking about the speech, right? And the speech of the wicked, what? Conceals something. It hides something. Covers. Behind the speech of the wicked is aggressive violence. There's some people who they fake that they like you, but they really don't like you. They really hate you. And behind their fakery and their words is aggressive violence. They're not just violent. They're aggressive violence. It's like some people. A couple of other days, I heard somebody say something about this person I know is a righteous person, and they said that while they were hearing a righteous person speak, they were saying in their mouth, "Won't you shut up? I can't stand you." What they did not understand was that evil spirit inside of them could not stand or suffer or could not even just be around the righteous words that were coming out the person's mouth. So they were saying good things, but they only heard curses. My God. Father, anoint our ears that we might hear what the Spirit says. All right? So you got two kinds of words coming out the mouth. Blessings, or you got speech that's wicked, and it comes from violence. It said the wicked conceal violence. That violence is just what it is. Let me see. I'm going to go down. It's just violence out of the mouth. Now, here's another part. We finished that section about words, right? We're going to come back to it. I guarantee you we'll come back to it. But so remember that wisdom, Proverbs is a bunch of wise sayings put together. So this is another wise saying. The memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the reputation of the wicked will rot, right? So let's go in and dig a little bit deeper. What are you talking about memory? We know we remember, we say things. We do things in memorial of people, right? So, but memory in the sense has to do with reputation, one's fame. So the fame of a person, the reputation of a person, one's reputation will be good or bad by righteousness or wickedness, respectively. I'll try to think of an example of this. And here is an example of the righteous, the memory or the reputation of a righteous person. There was a man who did his major work, or a young man, somewhere around 25, 30 years old, who did his major work in the civil rights movement. Now, when he was younger, his name was, just a common name that, they loved the way he speaks, that, they thought it was good. But now, once that person was no longer with us, his name, his reputation has grown even bigger. Two people I know are like that. One, the one that did the work in the 60s is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you look at his name started out small, but now there are streets in every, I believe, in every city, especially major city, but in the state, and our country even have a whole national holiday around Dr. King and his reputation for being a love ambassador, a teacher, one who stood up for the poor, one who spoke up for the needy, one who spoke up for the black people, who allowed them to become considered decent and human. All right, that's one. The other person I know whose name is like that is Bob Marley. Now, Bob Marley was necessarily a civil rights worker, but he was a light worker. Bob Marley's teaching, when you really get into it, I'm going to do something on that real soon, but Bob Marley's work is a compilation of positive, in fact, one of his songs, positive vibrations, yeah, positive. Live as you want to live, I, vibrations, yeah, positive. So and now, everywhere I've been in the world, and I've been in continents, different continents, and when I go, I hear Bob Marley music, and I know for a fact that his message continues. Bob Marley is bigger now than he ever was in life, because he was one of these righteous dudes trying to do the right thing. Don't hate on some of his activity, because both Bob Marley and Martin Luther King smoked, and our culture would be like putting their nose down on people who smoke, right? But that's just one of their human, oddities that they smoke. But the thing that they did also was they used their mouth to speak life for people. I never heard Dr. King always say uplifting things. So the memory of the righteous Dr. King, who did right after, the memory of Bob Marley is a blessing. Remember, it's a good word over people, but the reputation of the wicked will rot. What does that mean? Let's look at the word reputation that they translated reputation. The term name. When you talk about the name of somebody, you're talking about their repetition. Do you have a good name? I pray that I have a good name. I believe I have a good name. I take value to the name. I take value to the name Muhammad. My dad said, remember you are Muhammad. So I always remember, and that name Muhammad means one who lives a life that is worthy of praise, right? The comforter, the helper. That's what Muhammad means. So I like to live my life like I'm doing Muhammad right now. I'm living my life in such a way. I'm teaching. I'm passing on. I'm helping. I'm allowing comfort to come through me, right? So the wise person, so the reputation of the wicked, it says that name will rot. Let's look at what rot means, because it means this. The name, look, to say the wicked's name will rot means that the name will be obliterated from memory. Obliterated. I know what obliterate, at least I think I know what obliterated means, but it's definitely not one of them common words. So let me see if I can put that in our dictionary. And I want you to get a habit. I'm practicing a habit I want you to get a habit of. When you're studying ancient scripture and things, when you're reading books, I want you to stop and read and make sure you understand what the word means. Remember, words create worlds. I need to say that one more time. Words create worlds. A master of a wordsmith can create worlds unknown. And you know it by like a good poet, man, he can rock your world. She can rock your world if they got the poetry right, because they're using concise. I'm gonna say this there. They're using concise words. They're using words that's going to give life or help people. Now, to obliterate means this. to remove utterly from recognition or memory. Right? To remove from existence, to destroy utterly all traces, indication, or significance of. To rot. Now, I don't know. I tried to figure out what would be a good example of a person's whose reputation has gone bad. And I think it depends on perspective. The first person that came to my mind is, oh my God, I got two now. I got two. One is Hitler, Adolf Hitler. His name may be remembered, but his name is being remembered in a horrible reputation. Now, unless you got an evil spirit, you might think Adolf Hitler is a hero. But if you have a righteous culture, if you have a humane culture, then you know people they say Hitler, they hiss at the name. It's rotten, and I don't know, but you know we have to see. It's rotten in that it's not getting better. It's not going like, ooh, Hitler was the best thing on earth. Unless you're sick, maybe I should rethink that. Anyway, that was one. The other thing that came to my mind as an illustration of a reputation going bad is this. Dr. Bill Cosby. I love Dr. Bill Cosby. I loved him then. I love him now. But for the most part, our culture has canceled him because Dr. Bill Cosby did not walk in wisdom sometimes in his life. And that not walking in wisdom sometime in his life came back to haunt him. So now, instead of the jello man who was making so much money being known as the good, the clean comic and all that kind of stuff, now his name is smeared in the streets. But I'm going to still respect the work of the brother. I still love a different world. I can't remember what was that name that he did. The Huxtable. I love all that work. I love those movies that he did. I'm not going to stop watching the movies because he couldn't control himself. I just realized that he was foolish and he turned out to be the fool. And so sometimes it highlights the idea that sometimes we do things, right? And those things, sometimes we do things and those things turn out not to be good for us. And it comes back to haunt us. I heard recently about another comedian did some stuff a long time ago. They probably wouldn't even think of doing that kind of stuff now, but they did a long time ago. It's come because they didn't act in wisdom then. You want to get exposed to wisdom as quickly as possible, so you don't end up doing those things that will come back to bite you in the butt later on, right? The one who conducts himself with integrity. So now we're moving from that about these things about speech. But the one who conducts himself
It's 8 o'clock.
in integrity will live securely. But the one who behaves perversely will be found out. That's kind of self-explanatory. The one who conducts himself, what does that mean? The one whose lifestyle, the behavior, the one who has a lifestyle or behavior of integrity, we do need to look at that. Integrity here means blameless. You're walking in such a way that nobody can blame you for doing anything wrong, right? Security follows integrity because the lifestyle is blameless. The righteous is certain of the core. Let me slow down. The righteous is certain of the course to be followed and does not fear retribution from man or God. The only people hating on the people who have integrity, the people who are blameless, are those who are ungodly. And it says the people who have the lifestyle of integrity will live securely. Why they going to live securely and walk securely? Because they know they ain't done no wrong. And see, there's a law of sowing and reaping. If you sow bad seed, you're going to get bad harvest. If you sow evil deeds and evil thoughts, you're going to reap, evil communication and things happening to you. So, and you won't have security. But the one who behaves perversely, what is perversely? Let's talk about what perversely is. The one who perverts his way, that simply means the one who makes crooked or twisted or perverse. That means that it is stronger than simply taking crooked paths. It refers to perverting the ways. The one who is devious will not get away with it. Some people think that if they twist truth and twist righteousness, that they can get away with it. If they distort that thing as good and they tweak it for their own gain or whatever they do, one who behaves perversely will be found out. The one who winks his eye causes trouble. This idea of winking the eye, what it did, I looked at that one too. One who habitually winks. It means his eye maliciously as a secretive sign to those conspiring evil. You know, yeah. Oh, we're gonna treat them real good. Can you see my eye? We're going. They're talking to the people who are part of their conspiracy against somebody. Oh yeah, we're gonna treat them real good. We're gonna treat them real good, and they winking. You know. Some people when they play spades like I do, and they talking across the board, they are winking. Oh, diamonds are forever. They winking. They coming up with their schemes. They doing stuff. But the spade players know what I'm talking about. They talking across the board. They winking at each other. They got a secretive plan to do to cheat somebody or they're doing it, but they're doing it undercover. They're conspiring evil, right? This comparison is just devious gestures. Look, it says that the winks his eye maliciously as a secretive sign to those conspiring evil. This is in comparison rather to the contrast. Devious gestures are grievous, but not ruinous as foolish talk. Both are to be avoided. Foolish talk is to be avoided, and devious actions are to be avoided. Because this winking of the eye causes trouble, and the one who speaks foolishness will come to ruin. The speech of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the speech of the wicked conceals violence. Remember I said it's going to be a contrast between what you say, what type of language do you have, what kind of thing. So the righteous speech we already talked about, what is the mouth. The mouth of the righteous is going to speak. It's going to be a fountain of life, a fountain of life. So the person who is righteous is going to be a fountain of life. That mouth is going to be a fountain of life. Let's see. The fountain of life has to do with, for the sake of clarity or smoothness, it has to do with what is righteous. What the righteous say is beneficial to life. That's why it's a fountain of life. It's beneficial to life, life-giving. The words are life-giving, but the words are of wicked. The words are life-giving, but the words of the wicked are violent. They destroy. They tear down life. The words of the wicked are designed to tear people down, to cut them up, to put them in their place, to do all kinds of things. But the words of the righteous is like giving life. When you become a wise person, people will gather around you because they want to hear the words of the righteous. I hear my son. My son I got a wise son. My firstborn, especially, y'all son Emmanuel, he is wise. And his friends come around him to hear the wisdom. Now, part of that wisdom he got from walking with wise people, his mommy and his daddy. He's the firstborn. So we taught him a lot of wise sayings, a lot of stuff. So that when he gets around people come to gather around him to get that wisdom. People gather around me to get wisdom. They, sometimes they be ear hustling. I had some people who would ear hustle from me, and then they'd go and preach it in their pulpits and take it somewhere, and won't even give me credit for being the first person. I mean, you can at least say, I got this from this person, I got that. And then after that, use it to the rest of your being. But the wicked, they don't do that. All right. I'm gonna have to take some water. Yeah, I see that this because this is one of my first ones. I see that doing this, it takes longer. So maybe in season 2, I'll just take bits and pieces. But right now, I'm just gonna lock it down for locking it down. See, I'm gonna go through the whole thing, see what it really takes, and maybe my Facebook might be shorter, because after I do this kind of teaching with you guys on YouTube, I usually go to Facebook and teach. And because I had this conversation with you guys, I'm usually able to make it real quicker on the Facebook. Look what it says in verse 12. Hatred stirs up dissension. One of the things that God does not like is people who cause division between people. The contrast, the wicked motivated by hatred, animosity, rejection, with the righteous motivated by love, kind acts, showing favor. So hatred, animosity, rejection stirs up dissension. It breaks people up. But love covers over stuff. It covers all transgressions. Let's see what it says. It said love acts like forgiveness. Hatred looks for and exaggerates false, but love seeks ways to make sins missing the mark disappear. So love covers and hatred exposes. So y'all need to kind of be careful out there in Facebook and Twitter, on the social media, when y'all blasting on people. Some people just got a nasty spirit. Everything come out their mouth, they blasting, they talking down, they flaming people. You know what flaming people, young people know. I'm talking to you guys. They flaming people. And sometimes they flaming people and destroying themselves in the process. Those who are wise store up knowledge, but foolish speech leads to imminent destruction. You get the idea that the wise, those people who are saying good things, they're going to store up knowledge. This is very important for you to understand. Store up is to treasure. Wise people treasure knowledge. They don't tell. They do not tell all that they know. They keep some of that. They wise people acquire and do not lose wisdom. They get the wisdom and they hold on to it. They don't tell everything, because some people can't receive knowledge, but they hold some of it. They treasure it. That is, they treasure it up for a time when they will need it. The fool, by contrast, talks without thinking. The fool actually talks way too much. They talk without thinking. They just say things. They don't realize the power of their words change and create worlds, right? They don't realize the very words that they're saying is creating the stuff that they're dealing with in their life. But foolish speech, right? The mouth of the foolish, the babbling of a fool, right? It has to do with a foolish mouth or foolish speech. So foolish speech leads to imminent destruction. So the words of a fool that are uttered without wise forethought might invite imminent ruin. I know that's right. Because you say something to the wrong person, the wrong way, at the wrong time, you can actually lose your life, your physical life in the process. Or you say something to the wrong person the wrong way, and they can ruin you. They just take those words and just turn your life into a living hell. Because you didn't use wisdom when you said something. Keep evil words out your mouth and you'll be all right. Keep flaming folk out of your mouth, you're going to be all right. The wealth of a rich person is a fortified city, but the poor are brought to ruin by their poverty. So basically it's saying, look, the wealth of a rich person, right? A rich man's wealth is his strong city. So people who have wealth, it's like it forms a protection around you. If you have wealth, you can protect your health. If you have wealth, you can put security systems up. If you have wealth, when storms come and you have wealth, especially if you have wealth and you have savings, the storms come, you can ride on your savings till the storm is over. It becomes the wealth becomes a fortified city. Father, I pray that everybody who's listening to me today will acquire wealth. They will acquire wisdom and they will acquire wealth. I speak that over them, that they will align themselves in such a way with you that they will get wealth so that they can have some security in life. You know, but I'm gonna tell you, it says the poor are brought to ruin by their poverty. Poverty leads to the ruin of the poor. The term ruin includes shambles in which the person lives. This provides no security, but only the fear of ruin. This proverb is an observation on life. So that's why we got to take a look at this. This is an observation on life. Generally speaking, if you acquire wealth in wisdom, wealth in knowledge, wealth in material possessions, then you can be fortified pretty much in life. You can be safe. But if you poor, you don't know if they're going to come and take your house. You don't know if they're going to come and take your car. You're parking around the block because you don't know if you already know that the repo man is coming after you because you ain't paid your bills, because you ain't got no wealth, because you might have smoked up your money, you might have drank up your money, you might have brought those Yeezys when you should have been paying your car note. All that kind of stuff be going on, right? So the poor are brought to ruin by their poverty. That stinking thinking that you have, that not really good thing, is going to bring you into poverty, and we decide what poverty is earlier. The poverty is not having what people consider enough to take care and to live okay. In fact, it said that they'll be brought to shambles. You know, their houses there in some neighborhoods, they're just a mess. They got the ugliest houses all tore up because they have not reinvested in the house. So they're not building equity in the house. In fact, their house is going down and it's going to shambles because they're not investing. And so they have no security in that. In fact, it won't even be, the structure won't even be good anymore. The reward that the righteous receive is life. And the reward has to do with recompense, being paid. It's like getting paid on a job, right? It has a range of meaning. The range of meaning: work, deed, reward, recompense. There is clear correlation between a person's conduct and its consequences, right? There is a clear correlation between a person's conduct, what they do, how they behave, and the consequences that come from it. Rewards are determined by moral choices. What one receives in life depends on the use of gifts and the righteous character, right? So look, so you got to know that there's a clear correlation between how you act and what you do and what you receive. If you're always acting the fool, we can't take you anywhere. If you're always starting fights when you're going out, if you're always getting drunk when you're going out, you're going to come to poverty. First of all, your friends won't even want to hang out with you, right? You're going to come to poverty because the things you say out your mouth block and close doors of opportunity for you. You're going to come to poverty because you're not acting right. You're not living right, right? But if you're having right conduct, right things can come to you. Sorry about that. If you have right conduct, right things can come to you. If you're doing right, blessings follow that. But if you're doing wrong, all you got to look for is something crazy coming after you. What? The recompense, look, the payback, the recompense, the harvest that comes from the wicked, they receive the harvest of the wicked, look, is what? It says judgment. The Hebrew word is sin, right? The term kata functions as, okay, it means it's a cause or effect, punishment. So the recompense, the pay for evil deeds is a punishment. Who receives a reward, the contrast to the righteous who receive a reward, the wicked receive punishment for their misdoing, their missing the mark, their non-loving ways. That's what the righteous get. The unrighteous, the wicked get payback. They get poverty. They get ruined. The one who heeds instruction, the person who listens to instruction, look, the person who has discipline, heeds instruction is to have discipline, right? And let me see if it goes a little bit further. The wise person listens to instruction. However, the fool will not even take discipline to the heart. Wise people, they pay attention, they listen. When people tell them something, go a different way, do this, they don't just, I know better than you because they've been here only 20 minutes on the earth and you've been here for 60 minutes. They've been here 20 years, you've been here 60 years, and they're going to try to act like they know it because you looking at it from experience, you looking at it from wisdom, but they don't listen to you because they don't have sense enough to listen to the elders. They think old people don't know what they're talking about. But the one who rejects, rebukes, goes away. The one who conceals hatred utters lies. The one who heeds instruction is on the way to life. But those who reject instruction, they push instruction away. They cause other people to wander away from the truth. The ones who do that, those people are a problem. The one who rejects instruction, correction, rebuke goes astray. Now you might know what rebuke is. I don't know. What does it mean to rebuke? Do you know what rebuke is? As I'm looking this word up for you. Do you know what it means to rebuke something? Or when something is being rebuked? I'm not sure sometimes, so I try to get an idea of what it is. Here it is. I have the left thing. Rebuke. I saved it. Rebuke is this: to criticize sharply, Fools don't want you to criticize them sharply. They want you to they just want you to listen to them all day long. They don't want you to say nothing about their bad deeds. They just want you to, slap their hand. To rebuke is to turn back or keep down. They don't want to keep themselves in check, right? That's so you when you rebuke, they don't want it. Well, people who are not wise, they don't want you to tell them anything. The one who rejects rebuke goes astray. The one who conceals hatred utters lies. If you have hatred in your heart, right? It says this about it. The one who shows friendliness while concealing hatred is a liar. They just telling you lies. They really hate you, but they telling you lies. They want to be all up in your face. Man, God revealed a liar to us, somebody who really hated us, but didn't love us, but they're always in our face trying to act like they love us. God revealed that one day. It's painful when you run into those kind of people. When you find out your people, really, they just liars. They really hate you. They talk about you behind your back, but in front of your face, they try to act like you're friends. The one who spreads slander is certainly a fool. Now, I have to take a little bit of time on this one and teach about slander. Slander, the one who spreads, what does it mean? That cause to go out. One who caused to go out literally means to cause to go out. It has the idea in the sense of causing words to go out of one's mouth, or it may refer to slander, to spread in the sense of causing slander to go out to others. Now, one who causes these things to go out. What is slander? Slander is a word that we don't use much, but I know that I looked that word up for you, and let me see if I can find it easy, or I just would do it another way. Slander. Picked the wrong one. Slander. What does it mean to slander? If you slander something, here's the word slander right here. Slander means to defame. Slander is the utterance of a false charges or misrepresentation which defame and damage others' reputation. Slander is the utterance of a false charges or misrepresentation which defames and damages another's reputation. A false or defamatory oral statement about a person. When you slander somebody, let me see if I can, is there a child definition of it? Let's see. No. But slander. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about slander. Slander is a very evil and cold thing, right? Now, I work with youth. I work with a youth program. I work with a youth program. It was called the Los Angeles Conservation Corps. We work with people 18 to 24-year-olds. We help them to get high school diplomas and GEDs and work-related skills. I was a director of the education program at this conservation corps, and I run the school with that. And then I had a teacher that I hired one time, and this teacher brought slander upon me. This teacher said that I was sexually forward and aggressive to her. This teacher said, with the sexual harassment, that I was sexually harassing her, right? And God is the only one who knows the real truth. That I never slandered that woman. I never tried to sexually be involved with that woman. I never. It was absolutely a false accusation, and I had to go through hell. I had to go through all these what do they call that when HR come to you? I had to go through all these things. They had to go through these vetting, had to ask all these people all these questions. Did you do this and all that kind of stuff? And it was slander, right? But God prevailed. My righteous acts prevailed. That person later on, I never got to see that person again. Now, that person was attractive and all that, but I never did anything unkind. I've been married and been trying to stay faithful to my wife. So I'm in my process of trying to stay faithful to my wife, and this woman did it. So now I got the accusations. I got to go home and tell my wife that I've been accused of sexual harassment. It was slanderous, but I had to defend to my wife that I didn't do it. I had to defend to other people that I didn't do it. I wasn't in it, and thank God they ended up losing their job, and I kept mine. because I was doing righteousness. I wasn't slanderous. And then the crazy thing about that account I just told you is this. It was years later, one of my so-called friends who was really my enemy, who was all talking good in front of me, but was really planning evil behind me. Him and her came up with this thing because he wanted the job that I had, right? They came up with this thing to slander me. But I always operated in love toward this dude, right? And toward this, especially this dude, right? So one day he came and said, "Yeah, do you remember? Do you remember that time when that person said that you were sexually harassing them?" I knew it wasn't the truth. We came up with that to try to ruin your reputation, but it didn't work. I don't know why that first person felt like he wanted to tell me that. I still operated in love toward that individual, but I thank you for letting me know who you really are. You're really my enemy, and you're not my friend. And from that day forth, I stopped considering that person a friend. I didn't stop loving them, but I stopped considering them as a friend because I realized that person wasn't my friend. Thank God for love, or I would be hating them. But I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator. I love instead of hate, right? I did all that to talk about slander, because slander is an evil thing. It's speech that is just false, and it causes damage, so much damage to so many people. When the word abounds, when words abound, transgressions is inevitable. So when you talk a whole lot, like I've been talking a whole lot, and this one has been almost an hour or something like that, I've been talking. Somewhere here I said something that was slander. I said something that is a transgression. I overstepped the line somewhere. It's just inevitable. So look at what it says here. When words abound, transgression does not cease. Crossing the line. Look, it is impossible to avoid missing the mark of love, sinning in an abundance of words. Sooner or later, one is bound to say something wrong. So I'm sure that as long as I've been talking to you, I have said something wrong. Take the good, throw out the bone, throw out that was not good, right? But general rule is that when words abound, one who talks a lot, then it's inevitable that there's going to be a transgression. But the one who restrains his words is wise. Look at this. Holds his lips. The one who holds his lips. It's a picture. Here's the picture. All kinds of things are going on. They just talking. They're talking about you. They talking at the job, and you're in a business meeting, and you just right. To withhold or to restrain, in check. So with the idea is that you are a person who is wise, holds their mouth in check. And if you're not wise and you hold your mouth in check, you could be a fool. But if you keep your mouth closed, people will think you wise. And I've grown to the part now that I'm in a meeting. I could be in a meeting for a long time and I don't say nothing. I'm observing the players. I'm observing the attitudes. I'm observing the mindsets. I'm analyzing what they're saying so that when I finally speak, it's going to be words of wisdom. And then people, and because it's words of wisdom, it has the weight of value. And a lot of times, the people who hate it, they don't like that. They don't like when because you don't speak. And then when you silent on them, then they want to know what's going on. Because your enemy uses your words against you. Oh my God. I don't even know. That's a revelation. Look, when you are righteous, the enemy uses your words against you. They'll bring it back to you in a way that you did not mean or intend, and it will be horrible. They use your words against you. So a rule of thumb is, don't talk so much. I'm talking so much because I'm going to teach through this chapter. I have a purpose for my talking, and my purpose is to do it. That's why I said that this is long. I would not sit down as long as I'm sitting down to talk, to listen. But take it by bits and pieces. The way I'm doing is you can chop in, get in a little bit in, get out. All right. And I had to kind of this is my first time trying to figure out what this is all about with this new proverb. Because usually you can just get in and get out with stories. But this proverb, there's a lot. So you see that the proverbs are compact. They're compact wisdom. I'm doing this over an hour talking so far, and it's because it's wisdom being unpacked. So Proverbs is condensed wisdom, right? What the righteous say is like the best silver. It's pure choice silver. What the righteous say, the words of the righteous, right? The lips is really talking about the lips of the righteous. Some translators say the lips. The lips function as, an idea about the whole tongue or what's being said, right? What the righteous say is more valuable than what the wicked intend. What the righteous say is more valuable. It makes sense. It says it all for itself. But what the wicked think, this is important. This is where what the righteous say, and what the say is it comes from a righteous and godly mindset, an ordered mindset, right? That's what we say. But what the wicked think is of little value. Look what it says here. The heart of the wicked. The term wicked functions as this. It represents the heart or the thoughts. So the term think is representing the seat of thoughts and the thoughts, the will, and the emotions. So the wicked's thoughts are of little value. The wicked's will, what they want to happen, is of little value. The emotions of the wicked, even if they acted out, is of little value. The wicked's love is no love at all. It's the opposite. It's of little value. The teaching of the righteous feeds many, but fools die for lack of sense. Remember we talked about words. We talked about earlier that words were a fountain of life. Words give. So the teachings, the teachings, look, the utterance, what the term, the lips of the righteous, they say what's right. Of the righteous feeds. Look, the lips of the righteous, it basically nourishes. Where it says will meet the needs of the many. What the wise teachings of the righteous will meet the needs of the many. My prayer is that all these words that I'm saying will bless generations to come. I'm not doing this just for now. I'm laying this down and recording it and I believe that what's going to happen right now, I may be hidden. Right now, my name is not big right now, but I believe I'm going to have a Bob Marley-like experience. And it's going to be that maybe even when I'm gone, people will be playing my stuff all over the world. They'll be recording, they'll be going to teach, and they'll be using. They'll say, dude, that man was ahead of his time. But so right now, I'm doing the work in obscurity. But I know that God's going to bless it. Because God's word always accomplishes what it's sent out to do. And this is accomplished, this word is sent out to be a blessing, to encourage people, to give them some tools so they can have some common sense. So the teaching of the righteous feeds many, but fools die. But fools ruin their lives and the lives of others by the lack of discipline and knowledge. The contrast is between enhancing life and ruining life. The righteous words make life better. The words of the fool makes life worse. For they lack sense. This word sense is good. Look. This word sense has the idea it has the idea of the mind, of the heart. When you hear our word heart or sense, it has to do with the mind. It refers to discernment, wisdom, and good sense. It's a mindset. To have a sense is a mindset. They lack sense. A good sense is a mindset of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Bad sense is a mindset, is a horrible mindset. So here it is. The blessings from the Lord makes rich. We already talked about blessings. If you go back, we talked about what blessings are, right? Words that are said. This is look at this word. This is rakah, baraka. You remember? Some of you may have heard of President Barack Hussein. His name came from this word. The Barak is a blessing. It refers to a gift, enrichment, or endowment from the Lord. And I maintain that Barack Obama, he wasn't able to do much, but he did come as a blessing to us before we had this accursed presidency that was just full of lies and all that other stuff. Barack had suave, he had style. He took the presidency to the heights. He was a gift. He was a blessing to our nation. So that's in the sense of what a blessing is. A blessing is something that's good and of value, and it enriches. It makes life better. It makes life better. But so a Barak, a blessing from the Lord. The blessing from the Lord makes a person rich. What does it do? The blessing from the I am that is makes a person rich. It brings wealth. So when we speak life over you, if you notice, if you're going through it, every now and then I stop and pray blessings over you. Father, I pray that everybody who hears this, that you will bless them, that you will cause that you will cause these words to bring wealth toward them. That as they listen to these words, as they share these words, that wealth of knowledge, wealth of wisdom, a wealth of experience will come to them. Right? It implied supplies. It just brings wealth. It just brings wealth. The blessings of the Lord. The blessing from the Lord, the I am that is. He's the source that brings wealth. So if you get hooked up with the I am that is, what does it say? I might as well look at what it says here. This means Yahweh. The function here, it means the Hava, the Lord, the great I am that is, right? So the blessings of the great I am that is it brings wealth. And it adds no sorrow. So it brings wealth, but it adds no sorrow. I do want to stop to talk about this, because when I looked it up, I was like, adds no sorrow, what does that mean? So if you get wealth that comes from God speaking good things over you, it has a couple of meanings. It means toil or labor which produce pain and sorrow. So it's a blessing that comes without stuff that's going to cause you to be sorrowful or shameful. It's blessings that come without you having sorrow or toil or hard work or labor. Look, the word used of a curse, a man's labor. So I'm realizing that the Lord's word brings wealth and adds no sorrow, adds no curse with it, right? But carrying out the wicked schemes, the wicked plans, carrying out the wicked ideas, the scheme, it says a scheme to do wickedness. It is used elsewhere for planning, lewdness, murder, incest, adultery, idolatry, lasciviousness, and any planned gross impropriety gives the fool pleasure. So look what it's saying here. Look at this. Let me put it all together. The blessings of God draws riches to you, and it comes with no sorrow, no pain, and no sadness. Carrying out the wicked schemes is enjoyable to the fool. So when you say these curses over people, they do these things and they love doing it. It's like a sport to them. It's like a game to them. How can they frustrate you? How can they make your life so miserable that you want to quit, that you want to leave, right? My God. For the fool brings such enjoyment. For the fool, wickedness brings such enjoyment. For the discerning, wisdom does that. Wisdom brings joy to the discerning, but for the wickedness brings joy to the evil. They take pleasure in it. They don't even want to go to bed unless they do something evil. So is wisdom for the one who has discernment. You already talked about discernment. Discernment is, just in case you don't remember what discernment is, it is a word that I have looked up already. So let me see if I can find that word for you. Discernment. I'm going to write it up here. I didn't see it. D-I-S-C-E-R-N-M-E-N-T. Discernment. What is discernment? I didn't save it, but now it's saved. Discernment is now saved. Discernment is the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure. Something that is obscure is dark. It's a mystery. is shrouded in darkness. So when you have discernment, you're able to see and understand mysterious things and mystery and dark sayings. So that's what you have when you have discernment. So it says, and so is wisdom for the one who has discernment. Wisdom is enjoyable for the one who has the ability to grasp the dark and the wise sayings of old. What the wicked fears will come upon them. What the righteous desire will be granted. Remember I said that earlier? What the wicked fears, it's going to be as you say it's going to be. With everything you come up with the wicked, it says, what the wicked dread, that's going to come up. The wicked are afraid of the consequences of their missing the mark of love, their sinful actions. However, they cannot escape their consequences. You can't say and do all that kind of wickedness and not come to you. So it's going to come to you. You're going to reap what you sow, more than you sow, later than you sow. That is guaranteed. You're going to get you out there sowing wickedness and doing grimy things. Oh, you're going to reap that. It's going to come back to you somehow, somewhere. And if it don't come to you, it's going to come to your children or your children's children for 3 generations. Now, I'm not trying to speak a curse over you. I'm saying that wicked action has its own inherent curse that comes upon the person who uses that type of lifestyle and behavior. Have mercy. Try to save your own self. Save yourself. Stop doing wicked. If you're doing evil, if you're an evil-hearted person, stop it. Because you're killing yourself. It's slow suicide. I'm reproving you. I'm rebuking you. I'm saying something. I'm saying a harsh thing so that you can get correction and not have to suffer sorrow with it. What the wicked fears, what you scared of, is going to come. When you do grimy is coming back. What the righteous desire will be granted. Look at what this says. What the righteous people desire in their heart. Look, God is going to do this. What the righteous desire in their heart, because they have righteousness in their heart, it will give. It will be granted. You will get what the righteous person imagine in their heart, you'll get it. That's why you want to keep good imaginations in. That's why you want to use faith, because when you exercise your good vibration and your righteous idea, God just makes that thing happen for you. When the storm passes through, the wicked are swept away. I need to say this right now. The storm. The word storm, wind, comes from the root. It describes this. The storm that this is talking about is the kind of storm that makes an end of all things. It's a whirlwind that destroys. It's like a cyclone. It just comes in and wipes everything. It's like a tornado, right? That describes swift judgment and destruction. So it's saying that there's a storm that comes and passes through. The wicked are swept away. When the wicked don't want to get themselves right, they're gonna keep on acting up. It's gonna be they're bringing condemnation on them. They're bringing a damnation on them. They're bringing a storm. They're doing it themselves. They want to blame God for putting them in, but for the stuff they're doing. No, everybody's gonna go through some stuff, but everybody don't have to have extreme pain and poverty that goes along with it. The stuff that goes, the wicked people will wipe them out completely, take them off the face of the earth. But the righteous are an everlasting foundation. The righteous are like a pyramid. Them pyramids that the Egyptians worked, they're standing forever. It's the righteous are. It's like a firm foundation. Let me see what it says here. It's a foundation, a foundation forever. It's a forever foundation, right? So the righteous, because of this, it says the righteous to be an everlasting foundation. The stress is on being secure. When catastrophes of life come along, he is fixed in the covenantal relationship and needs not to be afraid passing through misfortune. The wicked has no such security. When you're righteous and stuff happen and crazy stuff happen in your life, just be cool. Just stand still and see what God's going to do, especially if you're righteous. Oh, they laid me off. That was probably the best thing they could have done. was to lay me off. And some people were working toward me being laid off because they were haters and hated the work that God was doing. The work that God did in my life and in my ministry has changed communities. That work is righteous. That work is solid, right? But haters, they were like, man, we got to get rid of this dude. Because he, like Joseph, everything he touches turns to gold. So they had to try to come up with something, some kind of scheme, some kind of plan. And, they got me out. And at the end of the day, they didn't know that they blessed me. Now I'm free from them. I'm free from the haters. I'm free from that force that they had to try to get me out. They blew up any kind of mistake I made. They blew it up out of proportion. And I make mistakes. But they did me a favor. So the storms will come in your life, but they're going to have good things. So the thing that the people mean for, what people mean for evil, God uses it toward good. So the righteous are an everlasting foundation. The righteous are a pyramid. You know, they're fixed in that relationship. Because they have a relationship with God, God's not going to get rid of them. But check this out. We almost finished, y'all. We almost down to the end. Like vinegar to teeth and like smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to those who send them. Now you know what a sluggard is. We came across the sluggard late earlier. So whoever keeps sending a sluggard. Now what's a sluggard? I think we really need to define sluggard. I really think we have to define sluggard. Because I don't think, I know what I'm doing wrong. I was trying to figure out, what am I doing wrong? I gotta do this. A sluggard is a habitually lazy person. Sluggard. Man. So if you don't want to be a sluggard, right? You don't want to be a sloth. You don't want to be a habitually lazy person, right? So the sluggard, because you become, if I hire you and you nothing but a sluggard, you're gonna be always trying to skirt work. You're gonna be like vinegar on my teeth that cause my teeth to hurt. Or you're gonna be like smoke in my eyes, cause my eyes to water. You're gonna be pain. So whoever hires a sluggard, I feel sorry for you. Fearing of the Lord prolongs life. If you honor God, if you reverence God, your life is gonna be preserved. Fearing of the Lord extends your days, but the lifespan of the wicked will be shortened. All right, the lifespan of the wicked, that's gonna be shortened. Right? Let me read this because I thought this was good. This general saying has to be qualified with the problem of righteous suffering and dying young, a problem that perplexes the sages of the entire world. Bad things happen to good people, but bad things don't always hit the same way. Bad things happen to the righteous people, because they're in covenant relationship, God is going to hook them up. He's going to bless them. Bad things come to people who are not in covenant relationship, it can ruin them. But this is the general principle. The righteous live longer because life is the natural one, and because God blesses them. If you righteous, God gonna bless you. The circumstance gonna curse you if you're not righteous. Here's a word about hope. This proverb contrasts the hopes of the righteous and the wicked. The righteous will see their hopes fulfilled. The saying is concerned with God's justice. That's talking about hope. Hope is eager expectations, longing, waiting for hope. It said, the hope of the righteous is joy. They're going to get joy. But the expectation of the wicked perishes. That's easy for you to get, right? We don't have to do a whole lot of explanation of that. The way of the Lord is a stronghold for the upright. What's a stronghold? The way of the Lord for the one who has integrity, the one who's solid. Their word is bond, and bond is life. The way of the Lord is a stronghold. It's like a fortress. It's like a castle, but it is destruction for the evildoers. The way of the Lord is a destruction for evildoers, because God's ways, because they come against God's way, it causes them to be at odds. It causes them to have ruin coming to their life. Right? The righteous will never be moved. The righteous will always stand, but the wicked will not inhabit the land. And that talked about, look, the proverb concerns enjoyment. Look at this. The righteous will never be moved, but the wicked will not inhabit the land. The proverb concerns the enjoyment of covenant blessing. When you're in right relationship with God, you have covenant blessing. Dwelling in the land of Israel. That was their covenant blessing, being in the land of Israel. But it is a promise. It is promised to the righteous for an eternal inheritance. And so the wicked cannot expect to settle there. The wicked cannot expect to settle there. They will be exiled. Righteousness establishes a person. Wickedness causes them to be on shaky ground. Here again, last few words. Speech. The speech of the righteous, right? The words of the speech of the righteous, what the words, what the lips, what the righteous say, the speech of the righteous bears the fruit of wisdom. You're gonna get something out of that. You're gonna bear the fruit of wisdom. If you speak wise words, you're gonna have righteous produce, wisdom and righteousness, right? It represents fruit. Righteous bears fruit. The fruit is wisdom, the speech of the righteous. But the one who speaks perversion, the one who speaks twisted stuff, the words who perverts good things, the one who let's see, the emphasis on this one is this person is characterized by perverse speech, right? That refers to those who turn things upside down, they overthrow, they pervert. So they turn good things bad. They say nasty stuff and regular stuff. It will that kind of speech and that kind of way of life will destroy them. The lips of the righteous knows what's pleasing. They know what to say. The lips of the righteous know what to say. They know what's pleasing, right? Right? What's delightful. All right. But the wicked, they say perverse and destructive things, right? So that's it. We did the whole thing. I wanted to see how it would work. I see that it took a lot to do this. That took almost an hour and 48 minutes, so now I know. So this is something you can chew on for a long time. This episode, you'll probably go back to this episode over and over again to try to get what it's saying. But it's good. I'm glad I took the time to do it. I'm actually, even though I would be tired after speaking this long and doing this, but I'm energized. I'm energized by the wisdom that I'm getting. I'm energized by the prospect of what God is going to do, because I know what I'm putting down. I expect joy. I expect happiness. I expect good results to come out of this. Because regarding me and regarding my children, I expect joy. So I'm going to end it like I always do. This is Uncle Omar. I was a little pastoral today. I was a little preacher today. So Preacher Omar, Pastor Omar, and Uncle Omar all together. Keep your hands clean and your heart pure. You cannot go wrong with that. This is Uncle Omar, Pastor Omar,